All right, so we're post game. Leafs Lightning. Leafs lose 5-2. Was it? Yeah, 5-2.
5-3.
Was it?
3. Yeah, it was
5-3.
3. Yeah.
Right. That shows how much I was paying attention. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about the game. We'll talk about the game. There's some other great stuff that we can throw in there. I want to chat with you guys about Canadian Olympic team. I'd also love to chat with you guys about some potential pickups in the at the deadline. Some of the team's needs, some of our things that while they've been playing really well, they've shown some deficiencies. So I want to get your guys' take on all that good stuff. So yeah, all this doesn't happen, of course, without our sponsor, PHG Sports out of Whitby, Ontario. You guys know them best from their Costco Roadshow that they do. So they're the supplier, the number one supplier of signed memorabilia for Costco Canada. And they've been doing it for a lot of years. So 10 plus years now, I believe. So yeah, if you're looking for those guys, you can get them at www.phgsports.com. And you'll get all their merchandise, or well, at least some of it on there. Follow them on Facebook as well, guys. PHG Sports on Facebook, and you can get regular updates as to where they are now, which Chad is in charge of. Where are they, Chad?
Stony Creek, Ontario.
Stony Creek,
until
Ontario.
the 19th of December.
There you go. Get out, buy your father something. He was good to you all year. Get him something good. Get us something good. Send us something nice.
Yes, I was going to say, get us something.
It's Christmas.
It's Christmas. Oh God. Anyway, guys. Titter tatter, let's get at her.
It's more like I'm going to score more than you. That's the game we're going to play.
Yep.
And it's a hard game to play against Vasilevsky. So,
yeah. Getting 3 past him.
Though. Leafs never had I don't think Vasilevsky never stones him. Like most teams not get 3 goals on him. Leafs have never had a problem with Vasilevsky. He's like 12-7.
He likes to do that bag kick, right?
Yeah.
He does that back kick thing. And he has Burnham, but
he's not the reason why they won that game.
No.
No turnovers.
Oh, it's horrible.
I mean, that's the story of it. And it's the last few games too.
And it's not only Hull, Muslin's not much better. I'm really
Muslin's having a hard time.
Yeah. Found the other 4D, but
Muzz is not Muzz.
No, there's something not right.
No.
Little shout out for Christian Rubens, man. He doesn't look out of place at all, eh?
No.
He doesn't look
out of place. He's huge. He doesn't look like
he doesn't look like he belongs. Too big.
The giant out there, man.
Yeah.
He's a big kid. Could see the growler finally make it up to the Leafs.
Yeah, but like his decision making is not bad. He moves the puck quickly. I mean, none of this is a surprise to me. Well, it kind of is a surprise to me because I knew he could do it at the ECHL level. He was a dominant defenseman, and then he moved to the AHL, and well, to no one's surprise, he played well there too. But to see him at the NHL level, where the speed of the game is that much faster, and I mean, he just looks good.
Yeah.
For a rookie defenseman, I mean, he's not gonna win any Calder's or anything this year. Clearly, he might not even get much more of a look once players start coming back healthy. But fact of the matter is, he's a viable piece, man, going into the playoffs. He could easily sit on that with the Black Aces and be there if you need him. He's a big old boy.
Yeah, if he keeps playing like that, I mean, someone goes down, you're pretty happy calling him up.
Yeah, no issues whatsoever.
No. You really miss Sandin out there, though. I got to say,
oh man,
yeah. You really missed that piece of it. Raleigh's playing some of the best hockey he's ever played. With like back to the days of him, Chad. I think you mentioned it the other night. Him paired with Hainsey was his best year he's ever had.
The thing that's getting me with Raleigh, he his offense looks great. His defense is not looking so great, man. He looks slow, and everybody's beating him 1-on-1.
Yeah,
but he's doing that thing that he does well. He's putting points on the board, so all is forgiven, I guess. But it drives me nuts when I see him go 1-on-1 trying to get back. He never has a chance.
No.
He's looked slower this year.
But even a game like this tonight, my only problem is that Hull wasn't appearing. Like I can't say I was disappointed with any of the forwards. Like they had plenty of chances, scored 3 goals against a top team, which should be enough, you would think.
Yeah, Kasha getting it done as usual.
Yeah, Kasha's been great. Like, to be quite honest with you, in his first month, how he was playing, I didn't expect this to be what the result was going to be, but he's going to be a real key piece for us.
Yeah, it
Well, I
just
mean,
it seems like you're hearing his name all game long. The announcer's just steady on his name, so that means he's on the puck always.
Yeah.
You rewind to episode 1, 2, 3, whatever episode you want to look at from season 2 of our podcast, and the resounding opinion among all 4 of us was that Kasha was kind of a disappointment, right?
Really?
Yeah. We talked about it, and that was kind of like I said, I've re-listened to him, and that's where that was kind of like the resounding trend. Like, not that he looked bad, but he just didn't show much. And here lately, man, my question to you guys is, does he deserve a regular spot in the top 6? Because at the end of that game,
I definitely would.
Yeah, absolutely.
right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. He's that power forward on the wing that, like, I'm just like Willie's presenting himself that way, but like Kasha is a little bit different going to the dirty areas.
Yep.
Like you can see it in his face that he's out there to battle.
Can he do another Hyman type? You mean, imagine slotting him up on the top line for a look.
So my question then is, who comes out, Kerfoot or Bunting?
Kerfoot.
I think so.
Yeah, Bunting looks really good.
Kerfoot is also a hard pill for me to swallow because I've thought he's elevated his game big time this year as well. I think he's looked at times. I mean, in some of those games when that second line was really buzzing, it was on the back of Alex Kerfoot. I mean, he was just all over it. You know, when nights when Willie was on, Kerfoot was on, and that line was unstoppable. So, again, good problem to have, but interesting, yeah.
But I think if a third line coming back of Kemp, Mikheyev, and say Kerfoot or Kasha, like that's pretty darn good line, good defensively, bit of speed there, of course, with Mikheyev. Like they will have a good problem. And I was saying to a buddy tonight that when you look back at it, Dubas got to be smalling by not signing Hyman. You've got Bunting there with probably a point or two more than Hyman, making what, $4 or $5 million less.
Under $1 million.
Yeah, and then you've got Kasha there. I don't know what we signed Kasha for. I'm assuming it was less than $2 million or around that.
Oh yeah.
Filling a similar role. So, like I think Dubas has done well in replacing
1.25 for
Kasha.
1.25, yeah, for 1 year though.
Yeah,
but still, I mean, that's all you're hearing. It's a common. They're always talking about him, always how to say it, just steady saying his name over and over and over. So
yeah,
get your money's worth there.
They signed Richie, Kemp, Kasha, and Bunting for about the same as what you would have paid Zach Hyman. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even.
Yeah,
it's not even worth talking about, right? And
No.
I mean, like I said, I'm a big Zach Hyman fan. He just at that cap hit, he just didn't fit our team, and that's fine.
Edmonton needed it and had the money, so that's all it is.
Yep, one guy out, 4 guys in, and it's going to be another interesting dilemma next year. Like I said, Phil Kessel's money is coming off the books, but we've increased Riley's paycheck, so it's kind of a bit of a wash, you know. So there's going to be some more experiments out there, guys that Dubas is going to go out and find and bring in. My big hang up with this team, and I hate to rag on the guy again, but I'm just not a fan. That's Pierre Engvall, right? Like, I just don't see what he ever does to justify his job at the NHL level. I just don't see it. I certainly don't see what justifies his job on PP2. Like, I mean, give me a break. The guy can't score, period. Right? And you're giving him time on PP2. I don't know. It baffles me when I look at the Marlies and look at some of the guys who they got playing there who could take that exact roster spot and at least what they got. Because right now, Engvall is showing me nothing. He kills penalties and does that adequately. That's not enough. That's not enough to keep you on an NHL roster.
He's the guy. He's the guy that comes out when we get our full team back.
Oh, no question.
That's no brainer. Like I'd really like to play a Simmons. I don't think they're giving up on the Richie experiment just yet.
I'm a big Simmons fan. I hope he never draws out of the lineup again. No. However, he does not look good alongside Austin Matthews. He just looks out of place, and that's no knock on Wayne Simmons, because those guys are not the easiest people in the world to play with. But Wayne just doesn't. I don't know. I don't know if he just lacks the creativity or the mindset or what it is to play with those younger guys, but it just doesn't. He looks way better on that fourth line playing with a Spezza than he does look on the top line. I think that's why very early on in this game we've seen Simmons kind of starting to slide into that spot. Keith was like, "Yeah, this is not really."
Well, you need to have Simmons about 7 or 8 years ago if you want him to be up in that line.
Exactly,
because he was very well fitting on all that when he was on Philly.
Oh, no doubt about it.
It's just I think he plays hard and it's shown it's slowing him down. So changing up the game and fourth line. Oh, I like where he is. I like the role he plays. I wouldn't take him out.
The problem with is not just that you're missing a Marner and his points and his potential and his play, is that then you start slotting folks into positions that they shouldn't be in.
No,
I think that's the bigger issue, because I think they have the team that could win without Marner, but again, you're slotting folks in where he really shouldn't be.
Well, while the Marner injury hurts, the Spezza suspension on top of that really compounds the problem, because he's your Swiss Army knife, man. He's the guy that we got a problem, slot him in, and because he can play anywhere in that lineup, right? Yeah. And he does not look at a place alongside Tavares or Matthews. So him out at the same time as Mitch, not a good look for the team, right?
No,
especially at a time when you're lacking a puck moving defenseman on the back end to move to play up the ice in Sandine. Man, it's and like I said, that's not the reason we lost tonight. I mean, if anything, we had the Tampa Bay had more impactful players missing than we did. So that's not the reason we lost. What is very evident, though, and I don't think the Leafs have this ability. When you screw up, when you drop that puck in the neutral zone or at the offensive blue line or whatever, once you give up that odd man rush to a team like Tampa Bay, they're going to burn you every time.
Yeah.
Not like some of the times, not like 50%, not like, because the Leafs don't do that. The Leafs will mess that up as often as they'll make it happen. And that's not the case with Tampa Bay, man. They'll burn you. And they say, oh, yeah, Willie knocked it into his own net or whatever. You'll hear all kinds of things, I'm sure, from uneducated people on Twitter about that. But that was a goal regardless. That was going in the net.
Yeah, that would have been a tap in.
Yeah,
that was a good back check, actually.
I thought he played that.
Gone wrong.
Yeah.
So,
you know what? Looking at two recent losses, this one as well as the Minnesota one, I was totally fine with the Minnesota one. Those were fluke goals, deflections, and those things. It wasn't really because of turnovers. This one hurts a little bit more.
Yeah,
like 3 or 4 of those goals should not have been in. Just Hall. I'm puzzled because he's behind the net.
Yeah,
takes his time, and then he starts to lose options to get the puck out of the zone.
Puck watching.
He closes himself in. Koliakvo did a great segment on it during the intermission. They're talking about not moving the puck instead of while Hall is choosing to skate with it. Yeah. And again, he closes himself off, and that was a big problem tonight on 2 goals. And another almost could have been, had it not been for Jack Campbell, that game would have got out of hand in a hurry. He made a couple of 10-bellers in that game that I thought were fantastic, right? It would have been nice for him to make a couple saves earlier on, but I can't fault him for the goals either, because there was neither one of those goals, those 4 goals. You looked and said, "Man, Jack should have had that." That wasn't the case.
No,
it wasn't a full hanging out to dry, but the team didn't help him any. So
what you got to be really careful of now, they don't go on a streak where win 1, lose 1, win 1, lose 1. They've got a tough road trip next week. Hopefully you can get Chicago Saturday night.
Yeah.
But if you can go out on that road trip and get secure 2 out of 3, or sweep like they did in California, you're back in good shape. I don't see in what situation Leafs don't make the playoffs. Like it's
No, God.
those teams are set in that division now. What we're 12 points up on Boston. I think we're 10 or 11 up on Detroit, which they're going to falter. Boston should finish in the 4th spot.
Man, I wouldn't count Detroit out, man. They're playing good hockey and they got some good young
Yeah.
guys, right? It's exciting.
Yeah.
You always need
Who's
that
going to drop
underdog.
off? Like one of those 3 teams really got to fall pretty hard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Florida hasn't done it even when Barkov was out. Now I know Barkov is back,
right?
but they made a good point tonight. You really don't want to finish in that 2-3 spot.
No, you don't.
Now at the same time, if you're finishing number 1, you're still facing a good team from the Metro Division.
Listen,
Yep.
no matter where you finish, you got to beat them all. That's the that's the concept. And the Leafs have proven that they're one of the top tier teams in the league when they want to be. There's no question about that. The recent runs they ran prior to the injury. Man, that team looked unstoppable. That team was like the most confident I've ever been in a Leafs squad. I was like, the boys got this. This is money in the bank. When your top tier guys are firing, you're getting a little bit of secondary scoring. But more importantly, the defense might even be the best Leafs defense I've ever seen. In that 7 or 8 game stretch there.
In a very long time.
They were so dialed, right? So locked in. I don't know what's going on. I wonder what's going on with Dermott, because like I said, for him to be losing his job to a guy who was in the ECHL 2 years ago is kind of...
He's hurt, right?
Was he?
Yeah, shoulder.
Was that right? I didn't know that. Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah, I didn't know it at first either, but it is a shoulder. Not much is being said.
No.
Big injury. I don't know.
There hasn't been any talk about him.
No, it is a shoulder, though.
It must be a day-to-day thing or something that they're not talking about much.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
But Keefe is not shy to put these guys right into the lineup either. I think he probably had options. He sent Anderson down to put Steves in the lineup. I haven't seen really much from him, but he doesn't look out of place. He's not. I don't think he's getting a ton of ice time.
My question is, like, at what point does the Josh Hosang experiment start to pay dividends? Like, okay, so has he proven he can play in the NHL or not? Because surely by now he's a more viable option than Alex Steves, isn't he? He got to be.
Yeah,
I understand
so.
he doesn't have an NHL contract. I know that's right now the stumbling block, I guess. But yeah, I mean, like, okay, shit or get off the pot here, Kyle. Either cut him loose. Because what do you want to keep him on the Marlies so that you can win a Calder Cup? Like,
yeah,
either cut him loose or sign him and bring him up, because he's clearly the guy you'd want on the wing in your top 6 at a time like this. At a time when you're absolutely dying for some talent up top to try to balance what you've lost. He is a more viable option up front than Wayne Simmons is.
I can only assume there's probably a cap problem there somewhere. Especially with you've got 2 guys there, Sandin and Marner on LTIR. I can only imagine that's the issue. But I don't know. Maybe they're just having patience.
I don't know, man. Like I said, to
Work
me,
in progress. How long did it take for Galchenyuk?
Not this long.
No, I don't think it was this long either.
No, it was a fairly short conditioning stint, really, is what he had. Hosang, we're into a quarter of the year gone, right? And
I think this is a different situation. Galchenyuk was still coming from
he was still on an NHL deal.
Still in the NHL, and I don't know what Hosang. It's interesting. Like, they've got to make a move this week to get Mrazek back up. Well, I know he's back up, but maybe that's the reason why Gabriel was traded. I don't know.
Well, when I heard that Curtis Gabriel was traded, I was thinking, okay, maybe they're just moving out a contract. I was thinking maybe they trade him for future considerations or something like that.
Yeah,
which is what I was hoping, because that's just a roster spot dump, right? Then you can sign another player without affecting your overall big picture when it comes to contracts. I guess at the end of the day, they just simply didn't need Curtis Gabriel after they picked up Kyle Clifford. That's quite clear. Clifford's twice the player Gabriel is without the gloves off. So yeah, it was an obvious contract to dump, and they picked up a defenseman who obviously would be more serviceable to them than a guy who drags his knuckles around the ice, right? So no fan of Curtis Gabriel, by the way. But anyway, a whole nother story. I want to ask you guys too about all the talk about Stamkos versus Tavares and who makes the Olympic team. Because to me, it's not as clear cut as John Tavares all the way. What are your thoughts?
I think Tavares makes it, and maybe it's because he had that Lululemon promo or whatever. I don't think they ask him to do that if he's not going to be on the team. I really don't, and especially with the start that he's had to the season, he's been a lot better than a lot of players, and he's been very consistent. I think I'd have both of them there, but if I'm choosing one, it's going to be. Well, they made a comment during the telecast or during the intermission that they almost assumed that Stamkos would have been a better leader in the dressing room, and I'm like, I'm not understanding that one.
No.
Yeah,
John Tavares is so serious and so monotone, where maybe Stamkos is a little bit more animated. But I mean, depending on what team kind of needs, you're gonna, if I was gonna pick Stamkos or Tavares, well, do I need a guy that's deadly in front of the net making tips and cleaning up garbage, or need a guy at a power play, dropping a knee and one-time it? That's what it comes down for me. I mean, they're both elite players.
They've got
great
scorers.
Players. Yeah,
I think Tavares can bring some other elements.
Mm-hmm.
I think both of them make it. I think there's some players like you would have thought a Barzell would have been a guarantee. I don't know how he makes that team. One of the things that I learned this week, though, if a player wasn't on that 50 player submission list, you can't make the team, which I didn't realize.
Yeah.
So Mangiapane, he's tailed off. I heard someone else say this week that Adam Pelech is going to be that typical defensive defenseman the Team Canada has always brought on.
Mm-hmm.
He may be that guy. I still say I'm assuming Brody didn't even make the top 50, but possibly I would have. I doubt it. I think Toronto has, and same thing with Riley. Riley's been recency bias or whatever, but
yeah,
Riley's played really well, and I think him, Marner, and Tavares at the end of the day land on that team.
Well, when they're saying it's one or the other for Stamkos or Tavares, I start saying, how is that possible? Given the fact that, some of the names that they're saying are a lock for your team are guys like Scheifele, which I don't argue. I mean, Mark Scheifele's a good player, but do I think he's head and tails above either of those other two guys? No,
I don't.
Ryan O'Reilly is another name that people say no, he's a lock to make the team. Sean Couturier. Yeah. Mark Stone. I mean, these guys, I don't see those guys as better options than either. This is the part where I'm getting hung up. I don't see those guys as better options than Steven Stamkos or John Tavares. And I know I'm biased with Tavares because he's one of my favorite players ever, but Stamkos is as well, with good reason. I don't know. I get that they're a little bit older. I get that, but they're far from editor.
No, God, no.
No, they're not heading down the ramp to the retirement village just yet. You know what I mean? So, like I said, to put a Sean Couturier on the team ahead of either one of those guys, I don't get it.
I don't either. Especially you got to look at some of those teams this year. Couturier is not doing. Philadelphia is not playing well. I don't know what part that plays into this in terms of how they're playing this season. I suspect it plays a big part. I really don't know how you leave. Well, Stamkos is number 5 in the league now in points. Tavares is up there over point per game player. I don't know how you leave him off. Both bring experience.
You don't. This is why I don't know if this was just a question that they figured, okay, we need something to talk about tonight, something contentious. So let's invent this, because I don't see it as a thing, right? That's why I wanted to talk to you guys about it. Because to me, I'm like, both of them make the team, and there's probably 3 or 4 guys behind them. You know what I mean? At least a couple.
And well, it's definitely something too, like I was saying, depending on the role that the player plays. If they need Couturier because he kills penalties better than more than anybody else, and draws face-offs. That's the other thing with Tavares' face-off percentage so far this year. I mean, that can't be ignored either. Right? Yeah, and I mean, even if he's on to take a face-off and get off again.
Imagine if your team's that good.
It's kind of funny, right? Yeah.
If your team is that good and John Tavares takes some fake space off, you're like, get off those, you're a liability.
Not your line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So,
the one thing, and again, this is such a moot point with Tavares, but I mean, he got a lot of great chemistry with Mitch Marner too, and that'll
Yeah.
give the head coach some other options if during training camp for some ungodly reason Marner doesn't fit with Crosby or McDavid.
I think Marner's pretty universal for anybody. I think.
Yeah, well, that's the other part too,
Yeah.
and so I don't know if that's, but it's certainly not going to hinder Tavares' chance of making the team anyway.
No.
Having that ability to score 47 goals off the stick of Mitch Marner, so.
Yep.
I think the other thing is too, God forbid you see a top center, one of your top two centers go down.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with a John Tavares filling in to that number 2 spot or even the number 1 spot. Can you say the same thing for a Ryan O'Reilly, a Couturier, a Stone?
No.
I don't see it.
No. And that's my problem with the guys that they're saying are locks, right? I don't know.
I think I was looking at was last night, and someone has Shabbat as a definite, and I'm like, I don't know how that happens. I
a
know
big
he's
fan.
real good.
That guy eats minutes too, man. He's like 28 minutes a night.
He do,
And
but
so
I'm
if he's
like,
only playing 24 minutes on Canada, he'll look way better than you think. I like Shabbat.
So I'm not one bit worried about Tavares making the team. I think he's a lock. I have all along. Morgan Riley, on the other hand, I don't know if he keeps playing like he's playing into
Point production for sure.
Yeah, I mean it's there, but I mean from a defensive perspective, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. He's definitely one of the better options out there. But I mean, there's a lot of great defensemen too. I mean, you're looking at Dougie Hamilton. I mean, he's to me, Dougie's going to make the team. He's just one of those
Petrangelo
guys.
a lock.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
He'd be a
I think Ekblad is there.
Darnell
Nurse
Nurse.
gotta be
Is
there
a
too.
lock.
Nurse and Cal McCarr. Cal McCarr is making the team.
Carr, yeah.
I don't know if Nurse is a lock. I don't
I don't
know.
know if he is either.
That's where you're getting down to. Do you take a Raleigh? Do you take a Nurse? I think Theodore is probably going to be a lock. I see him pairing up with Petrangelo, so you got that combination like you used to do with
Periaco go there.
Rook.
See, I don't like that strategy. I think you're probably right. I don't like this. Let's take the defensive partner to go with the same guy. I just don't like that. I mean, yeah, okay, it kind of worked out well for Chris Letang as a forward with Crosby, but again, I think I could have tapped in a few with Crosby.
Yeah.
Like to me, if you're talking about Petrangelo is going to be on your top pair, right?
Yep.
So is there nobody else from the Canadian hockey program currently playing in the NHL who could substitute in for Shea Theodore up on that top pair?
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know, I don't. I mean, and a lot of people are saying that's going to be a pair at the Olympics, and I'm like, really? Like that's like to me, Shabbat is a better option than Shea Theodore, and like I said, I don't even know if he makes the team. So I don't know. Like it's going to be interesting. I always love these conversations because it's like you're like it's like you're spoiled with riches, and you're like, oh yeah, well it can be this guy, that guy, this guy, that guy.
But even some projections has Carter Hart as your number 1, and I know Philadelphia are really bad, but I've seen a lot of projections where he's number 1.
Yep. And I do think he is the next thing for Canada, but I don't know if that's right now this year. He's letting in a lot of goals.
But who becomes your number 1? Like,
I know Canada.
Price is not looking likely right now.
No.
If Price plays,
then again, it's a big stage. He's like, yeah, he's probably gonna eat it up. But do you know who else? This one's saying here that Josh Morrissey may make the team.
Oh well, then
That's getting pretty.
I'm cheering for the Americans. I'm pretty close to cheering for Austin.
Ice cap. Josh Morrissey, you're going to treat him like that?
No, I know, but I just don't. Put it this way: if Morgan Raleigh misses out on that team because of Josh Morrissey,
no, this one has him on there.
Done.
This one says the last cuts are Dougie Hamilton, Shabbat, and Brett Burns. That's the last cuts of the team.
I don't. Brett Burns not making this team.
Brett Burns, no.
You need 5 years ago.
I can see Shabbat making it or not making it. Like Dougie Hamilton has had a great year in New Jersey.
Yep.
Like
he's got to make it.
I think he's there. He's a lock. I think your locks on defense: Petrangelo, McCarr,
Doughty.
I'd love to say yes, but I don't think he's a lock. I think Ekblad is a lock. I'd love to see Ekblad here.
If we're saying is Shabbat might make the team, I'm going to say Doughty's definitely making it.
But then it becomes like, who do you take off? Like who goes, right?
again, the defense is even more tangly to me than the forwards because
Yeah.
there's just so many great offensive defensemen, but kind of good to have some guys back there who can swoop the puck out of the way or lay a big hit, right? So, and
Yep.
I mean, that's Pietrangelo. I mean, he's your all-around guy. So, I mean, he's your Swiss Army knife of defenseman. But after that, you know, the guy
Ekblad can play that dual role.
Ekblad can, Dougie Hamilton can. Well, will he? I don't know. So it is going to be very interesting because Cal McCarr is not. Cal McCarr is an offensive defenseman, as is Morgan Riley. You know, these guys are it's a come or bust situation with him. It's balls to the wall. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I like I said, we're spoiled with riches and it's fun to talk about. But speaking about how good Dougie Hamilton is, listen, let me put together a potential trade for you. See if you'd be down with it. Okay. So we got, let's say if we were to trade, I don't know, 30 goal scoring forward for Dougie Hamilton and Tyler Seguin, would you make the trade?
A 30 goals. It's hard to say, man. Dougie Hamilton's after like packing a suitcase too many times.
Yeah, I don't know.
mean,
I can't even.
love the way he's
I'm gonna
playing
be
right
the Bob
now.
McKenzie. Like, which quiz master came up with this question?
Yeah, I loved the old Berkey trade, right, to Phil Kessel for the Phil Kessel for really what turned out to be Dougie Hamilton and Tyler Seguin.
Oh, that's where you're going with it. Yes, sorry.
No, I was going with it with you know any of the 30 goal scorers that we currently have, which is not that many currently. Willie's on pace for it, as is JT, as is Austin Matthews. That's about it, I think. Well, actually, Michael Bunting, I think, is on pace for 32. Which
he just got like it was like 7 points in 9 games or something.
he
Not too bad.
Snuff up the rookie scoring board.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm not comfortable with the Leafs right now is that defense, and not just because of tonight's game. I'd go back to the beginning of the season, and even in that big streak they were going on, it's not a set of 6 defensemen I'd want to be going into the playoffs with, and I know it's not going to be. You know they're going to go out and make that move for like I don't know, be something like a Bogosian or something like that. I just don't see that defense. If Hall and Muzzin were what they were last year or previous years, then maybe yes, but you've got inexperience there with Sandin and Liljegren, and then you got some turbulence there with Hall and Muzzin. I'm like,
I got to tell you though, Liljegren to me is looking good. I'm not in any
more comfortable
hurry.
every game.
No, I was of the opinion at the beginning. I think we were doing episodes earlier before the season started, and I said, "This is the year. You either shit or get off the pot with Liljegren. It's time to either let him go, play NHL games somewhere else, or give him a regular spot and see what you got."
Yeah,
because he's not too good for the AHL. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's a serviceable AHL defenseman, but defensemen mature completely differently than forwards and at the minor league level, right? They need to be exposed to that pace of play coming at them in the opposite direction that the NHL offers before you know what you got, and that's just the way it is. So
and that ceiling is there for a reason for him.
Like we've been talking about Liljegren for 7 years, 6 years, whatever it is, but he's still, as of this year, a rookie. And if you throw a rookie defenseman on the ice and give him the kind of minutes that Liljegren's been logging, which have been respectable minutes, man, to me, I think he's a standout. This is his first season in the NHL, and I think he's killing it. He's not Rasmus Sandin killing it, but also Rasmus Sandin played more games than Liljegren and has had a lot more exposure, a lot more practice time with the team, etc., etc. So I think the kid's killing it. You know?
Well, he like right now, based on the season, they're the 3 and 4 best defensemen on the team.
Yeah,
I have no idea what's up with Muzzin. Like,
I wonder if Muzzin's not playing quasi hurt, man. Seems like he's always limping off the ice. I'm like, frig, man. Like, I mean, he puts his body in the way all the time, and I respect that. But
how do you get Ben Sherrod out of Montreal? As much as I don't want to be making trades with Montreal,
I don't want to trade with Montreal.
Well, this is the time to do it.
You know they're going to want a first round pick, which I got no problem. I'll give them up every day.
Even take Petrie.
Yeah, I give up a first round pick as long as we're making the playoffs, and right now it looks that way. So, because again, it goes back to the Dougie Hamilton, Tyler Seguin, Phil Kessel trade. That one is scary when you look at how that could have went. You know, so.
But you know what? In hindsight on that trade, like you still make that trade.
Still
Like,
make that trade.
You got a superstar in Kessel, like fantastic player. It's gonna be a Hall of Famer. How do you not make that trade?
Well,
It just turned out really bad on the other end of it.
Yeah.
But,
Well, it turned out really bad down the road. But without making that trade, the Leafs ends up in a lottery position for Hall. Well, they were anyway. For the Yakupov year, they were the Oilers basically. Because Kessel then became our franchise player, and then they moved in Phaneuf. So, yeah, we're going back a long ways, but yeah.
So Ben Chariot's contract is up this year. So do you give up a first round pick with no future with this guy? I don't see Duas doing that. But can you get him as a rental?
He did it for Foligno.
I know, but Foligno is a lot better than Chariot. Chariot, or whatever you want to call it. Chariot.
Also, I hear Ben Sherratt's an asshole. So
yeah, I mean,
there's also that.
I think there's video footage of that.
Yeah, well, I met Ben Sherratt in St. John's. And
did you?
Yeah, when he was playing with the Ice Caps, and we went to fan appreciation night, and I mean, fan appreciation night is a lot of kids, which is good, and a lot of hockey nerds, which is also cool. But like, I mean, it's your chance to take around your empty Ice Caps flyer. I got it here somewhere. It's an autograph board that they hand it to everyone to go around. All the players are sitting at desks and stuff and doing their thing, and Ben Sherratt was the only guy who was there who was too cool for school when it came to on autographs. Like, the kids were trying to get him, and he was like,
fan appreciation.
Yeah. He was like, and ever since then I was like, man, that guy's going nowhere. But now he did. He ended up in the NHL, and he's a serviceable player. But after seeing that, I was like, nah, you know what? He got up like 20 minutes before everything was over and dodged on, and like,
no way.
Yeah, it wasn't cool at all.
No love for St. John's.
Yeah.
How much is left on Drew Doughty's contract? God, my favorite defenseman of all time outside the Leafs. Does he still get years left?
Oh, you got to have at least 5.
I loved the guy. I definitely have him on Team Canada. I can't say he's a lock because I just don't. There's so many other defensemen, but you get like, I love that guy to be on the Leafs right now.
Let's see, after this year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years left.
That's not happening.
No, 11 mil a year.
No, some viable teams that are going to be in sell mode are, well, obviously the Vancouver Canucks. We haven't mentioned that. I mean, Vancouver's torn it down and built it back up.
Yeah, and they just got Rutherford today, huh?
Yeah, Rutherford is on. They got Gabby coaching, so I mean,
stuff's about to go down.
Yeah, it's about to get hairy out there. They've got some awesome defensemen, all expensive defensemen, but not if you're moving a Jake Muzzin, for example. Do you move a Muzzin for a Tyler Myers, for example? Is that a trade that you'd make?
I don't know. I don't think that improves us. Tyler Myers is not as. I don't do that trade. I don't think the lift is big enough.
From Muzzin?
Yeah.
Tyler Myers is, unless I'm missing something, he's dropped off mightily from what his potential was.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want him on the team.
The catch with him is he signed for another 2 years at $6 million after this one, which is.
Yeah, I don't want that contract.
That's where it's tangly, right?
Yeah.
The only other defenseman that they've got out there that would potentially he'd have to waive his no move clause would be Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and that's a contract which we simply cannot fit under our cap.
No,
so, like I said, it's Tyler Myers really out there, unless you're looking at bolstering your bottom pair, and then you're looking at guys like Tucker Poolman is out there, good little guy. I can't see bringing back Luke Shane. I think
Hamonic is out there.
Hamonic is there, yeah.
He just got called up from the AHL.
Yep, which is something, hey?
Yeah.
But I think there's other stuff. I think he wants to be in the West Coast.
Yeah, that's always been a thing with him.
Now listen, the Islanders got some defensemen down there. The Islanders are not going to make it this year.
Luke Shannon's on the top pairing with Myers.
Yeah. Are you serious?
Then they're wondering what they're losing, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
and Quinn Hughes and Hamonic are on the second pairing.
Yeah. I'll tell you, you guys were talking about Montreal, and while you mentioned Ben Sherratt, what about David Savard, man?
Oh, totally.
right?
How much? What did he sign for?
Only 3.5. Like,
But for
Yeah.
how many years?
4 or 5. Let me look. I'm gonna.
I'd take it.
I'm assuming though he's got a no move or something there. I would
Nope.
imagine.
3
You
years.
don't?
3 more years after this one at 3.5, and no restrictions.
I don't see.
I'd
Dubas.
take that.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, I don't see Dubas doing it though. I don't think he's taking
Really?
term on for. Savard got to be 35, is he?
31.
31
31. Okay,
6'2", 234 pounds, man.
and a right shot.
but
Yeah.
I think you can. I think you can get that somewhere else. I don't know who it is. That's going to be my.
I
Or
don't know,
would have been.
defensemen come pretty expensive.
Yeah,
3.5 is pretty good.
Yeah. Well, the other guy that sticks out to me in Montreal, and he's hurt. I don't know how the story is with him. Is Joel Edmonston, and I really liked him when he was with the
Yeah.
Blues.
That's all right.
He's a left shot guy, but same money. They're still looking at 3.5 million, but he's the kind of guy you like in the playoffs. You know what I mean?
I'm going to throw out a name. I don't think it's going to happen. But Giordano in Seattle. To Seattle.
really
Build the coffers with picks and those types of things. I know he's the captain, but he hasn't really have that same appeal in your first year.
First year, ship out your
losing
captain.
season, but I
It'd be
see
cool to
something
see
like
him.
that. I can't see him bringing in a David Savard who's got term left like that.
Well, I mean, Giordano is also a UFA at the end of the year. Is he going to sign with Seattle to finish out his career?
True.
Right. Like
Really unlikely.
I'd be fine with that. Put him in a 5-6 pair or a 3-4 pair.
Yeah.
I think he's still got some hockey left.
I'm going to
And
see
he
again.
brings-
Again, trying to do the cap maneuvers to get these big ticket guys under the cap. Like you got to do the old Kucherov move where you got one of your big guys out until after the deadline, right?
Marner,
Yeah.
setback after setback. Lots of time.
Yeah. Now Giordano's making, according to this, making 6.75 this year in the UFA. Next year he's 38 years old. But yeah, going into the playoffs, man, why not? Right?
Yeah.
What about Vlasic? He's got to be up soon, is he?
I love Mark Edward Vlasic.
Yeah, no.
I'm telling you,
he's
they're
getting
making a
up
run
too.
for Subban. Just watch.
I can't see it. I'd love it. I'd love it and hate it at the same time because I think he'd be a cancer in the dressing room. But again, how good's our dressing room to begin with? I have no idea. So
I think they'd have enough guys in that dressing room to settle him down. Simmons, Tavares, but yeah, I don't know. Like
I don't know.
It's not impossible. I mean, as a UFA next year, do the Leafs take a run at the guy? He's only 32 years
He's
old,
playing
right?
half dirty this year too, isn't
he has, yeah. Gonna call him
Yeah.
Slewfoot.
he? Yeah.
Slurfoot, yeah.
So
Kerfoot and Slur.
I don't know if that's the game he's resorting to. I'm better off leaving him where he is. It just shows desperation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's just not living up to his contract right now, right? I mean, he's making $9
No.
million a year, has been. He's gonna be 33, 30. Yeah, he'll be 33 when he signs his next one. He's not getting half of that, I don't think, at 33 years old. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he lands for $5-6 million. I don't know, but I just can't see it.
He got paid that based on winning Norris trophies.
Yeah.
And he has not done anything even close, remotely close.
Like,
So-
can you get a defenseman out of Philly? Or I'm just looking at the standings, some of the teams at the bottom. Like Philly got a ton of defensemen. Ryan Ellis, Ristolainen, Provorov.
Probably you're never
Sanheim.
getting him though.
Like you've got a ton of defensemen. The Islanders still got some defensemen left.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chicago, Arizona. I don't know really what's there, but I'm gonna say Giordano.
Wow.
That's my prediction for the trade deadline, which is only 2 months away. 2 or 3.
What's Ristolainen getting?
He was always a guy I wanted on the Leafs too. That big
Me
guy,
too.
but he's never really. He's been on
No.
real bad teams. Of course, Buffalo and whatever's
He's in his
happening in
last.
Philly.
He's in his
Remember
last
all
year.
those
5.4.
battles that Ristolainen used to get in with Kadri, man. It was always entertaining.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Like they're both
Yeah.
like dirty, quasi greasy players. They never really wanted to fight each other, but it was always kind of like, I don't know, just greasy, dirty. I always enjoyed it. But yeah,
you
I don't
think
know.
he's in his last year.
Yep, a 5.4. It's a good one.
Yeah. And he's
He
a
can
guy
play
you can
big
still
minutes
sign.
too.
How old is he?
He's not that old, is he? 27.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, this is going to be his big ticket year, probably, if he plays well.
Well, that's the problem. He hasn't.
Well, then we don't want him.
No,
Oh,
I
give me
know,
a-
but
Give me
something
a
with that
show me
guy,
contract.
I think he still has the potential.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they're ever going to hand out awards, guys, for name dropping defensemen, but if they do, we are the number 1 first overall pick in podcast, the Deke Snipe Silly podcast. So
One of these is going to be right.
yeah, one of us got to be right on this one. We've dropped every name in the NHL.
Oh, yeah. We only named 4 on each team. That's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think we knocked this on the head, guys. What do you think? I think that's good.
I think I'm good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. We're post game, and this is what you get. We're a bit jaded. We didn't talk too much about the game. I think we're all just kind of whatever.
It's a loss.
It's a loss, and we'll take it. We'll file it under meh and move on.
Yeah.
But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the content, guys. If you're looking for more content, check out www.facebook.com/DekeSnipeSilly. You'll see some. We got our new writer up and running, so big shout out to Tim Hayward, who's
Tim.
blogging. Got his first blog out the other day, and it's actually been well received among Islanders fans, talking about the glory days with Dennis Potvin. So big shout out to Tim for getting his content rolling. And he tells me he'll have another one heading your way very shortly. So again, check out our webpage. You can get us at www.dekesnipesilly.ca. All of our content is there as well. Follow us on Twitter as well at SellyDeke. And of course, if you're tuning in, listening to the podcast like most of you do, you're getting us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, all of the above. Anywhere you find your podcast, you can find Deke Snipe Silly. So if you guys are good, I'm just going to go peace out.